What's going on, traders? In this video, we're going to discuss a 52-week breakout. 52-week breakouts are very interesting and very nice to trade. One of my favorite 52-week breakouts are similar to this. So what I do have multiple data, but ideally, what you want to do is to buy it as it breaks all-time high. A good example would probably be something like IMNN and something like multiple times it did a 52-week breakout. You can see so here at 140, we ran to 240, and right here we went from 220 to 290. And right here we have MLGO 20 to 30. Here we did a day two continuation, but this is a consolidation around 20 to 30. This is actually one of the best examples of a 52-week breakout right here. So ideally, what you want to do is going to have a consolidation before a resistance level, and then it breaks that level as continuation breaks yesterday's high, breaks all-time high. So the more things you can combine, day two high, pretty much 52-week high, and so forth. So let's discuss a 52-week breakout. Uh, by So in this situation, what we want to do is ideally combine multiple setups. Combine multiple setups. So the more setups you can combine, the better breakout you're gonna get. The more setups you can combine, the better the breakout will be. So in this situation, we combine multiple breakouts here. Um, broke yesterday's high, broke yesterday high. So that's a setup, setup one. Um, that's the setup. So that's so pretty much the more you can combine, number one. Number two, broke broke 52-week breakout, 2-week breakout, and broke all-time high. Broke all-time high for the past week or month. So this is a very powerful pattern. So let's look at an example over here. As you can see, we broke yesterday's high, all-time high, and then pretty much 2 days ago's high. So this is an example of a 52-week breakout. Um, Another example of a 52-week breakout, it happened recently, actually today. IMMM is also a 52-week breakout, but you have actually right here. Actually, this is a day two continuation, but this is a 52-week breakout. That means it consolidates around a level, say 220, 230, 240, and you can combine. So in this situation, it broke yesterday's high of 230 and it broke all-time high of 240. INM didn't go up by much, but that's ideally what you want to do. This is actually a pretty good setup. This is actually, this is the stock that I made most amount of money because I was buying it at around 35 and I sold it at like 70. So this is, first, I combined multiple setups here. Breaks yesterday's high. Actually, it's also broke yesterday's high or first green day bounce. So also the biggest mover for the past month. Also the first big mover. Also the first big mover after a slow month. So what happens is, after a slow month, uh, the stock market will have a squeezer. So this is the squeezer. It's a stock that has this absurdity going from 5 to like 50, and then ends up breaking yesterday's high and end up breaking all-time high. And then this stock ended up going up to 120. So let's review here. So first Green Day bounce happened at 32. That means so check. Um, first Green Day bounce. First Green Day bounce is over here. So check. So you have a lot of technical setups here going on. Number one, right here. First green day bounce. That means the stock pretty much went straight up and then broke yesterday's high, and we have a bounce. The next one broke yesterday's high. So I combine one setup with two setups, and then I combine also, this is the biggest mover after a very long time. Also the big mover after the third time. Also the big mover after very slow month. And then broke all-time high in the past week or month. As you can see, it broke all-time high of 55. 55 right here, the fourth setup, and then broke 52-week high as well. So you have 5 setups combined into one, and this will equal, an absurdity of profits, say pretty much $35 to $120. That's actually how high this ticker went. The ticker that went was pretty much SBET, and it happened on June. SBET, and this is combining multiple time frames, and you can use this pattern. You can see, so I'm buying at 35, and it hit like 100. So this is a very good example of using a 52-week breakout buy and combining multiple time frames. If you want to get just simpler, we can go into another example here that just happened yesterday, and a lot more simpler pattern. Right here we have KWM. You have how many setups you have here? You have broke yesterday's high and broke 52-week high. This is a very simple pattern. KWM, 2 setups, broke number 1, broke yesterday's high, broke all-time high, and number 2 broke 52-week breakout. So that's multiple patterns here. So here in this example, you have 2 setups. One broke yesterday's high, which is this example, KWM, yesterday's high was 575, right about here, 575. Broke 52-week breakout. 52-week breakout was 645. 645. 645. This is a very nice example over here. And then pretty much what you want to do is buy it as it breaks 645. In this situation, we actually rejected 645, and I didn't know if I'm going to continue on. So I ended up buying it around 7 and pretty much flipping it for 20%. So, since this is combining 2 tickers, uh, you're combining 2 setups here. So you don't have a first green day bounce. You don't, so it's not the first big mover. Um, it's number 3, broke all-time high 52, the past month or something. So what can you expect here to take profits over take profits over 20%? That's ideally what you want to do. And in this situation, you can see so that my buy in this ticker was around 7, and my exit was 840 because 830 because at 840 it pretty much so I bought it. Ideally, perfectly, you want to buy it at 645, then sell it at 840. But I chased it around 7, and I got out at 830, and it ended up 850 being the top. So what you want to do, either A, you buy it as it breaks yesterday's high, which I was not there at 575. You can see we broke 575 and we held. And or buy it as it breaks yesterday's high, 645, and first time around rejected, came back, retested, and then I actually bought it as we made a higher high over here at 675 and sold it over here. This is a very good example. The ideal place, it's either A, best place to buy it. A, when it breaks yesterday's high, 575, or B, um, or B, pretty much breaks all times high. In this situation, I pretty much estimated that this ticker will go up, 20% because the float was 1 million. Float is under 1 million. So I did expect that chasing it at 7, would provide me lots of range because it was a very thin float. And soon enough, I bought it, technically I could have bought it at 674, maybe 675, but I didn't see it at 675. And then I bought it as we broke 7. I always like stocks. I always like buying stocks as they break this, makes a new high, because it ends up doing this. I don't really like, I could have bought the dip over here, but I didn't know if it's gonna hold or not. So I usually let the market tell me whether they're gonna hold it or not. And then we broke, the high of this morning. Then we ran to 870. This is a very good example of a 52-week breakout. So the more things you can combine, broke yesterday's high, broke 52-week high, broke all-time high. First green day bounce, also the first big mover. You're gonna have something monstrosity like SBET, 35 to 120. But most of the time you take 20% profit. But in this situation, it went from 575 to 850. So it is very, this is huge amount of range. 575 to 8. That's $3 a share to make profit, and that's worth the risk for me. And this was an example of KWM that was pretty much alerted in the chat room as a 52-week breakout, and soon enough we had a nice spike to around 850. Lots of other ones are here, and I will be adding more to it. But you can see, so here we broke $20 or $21, went to over 30. So taking profits 20, 30, 40%, actually in this scenario. Actually from 21, I took profits at 25. And you can see SBET, and over here we broke 24. We only went to 29. So it only gave you, really, if you were perfect at 2.4, it gave 20%. You can see if you buy the 52-week breakout of 2.4, it does give you 20% most of the time. So that's ideally, I do have more setups and I'll add more, but that's primarily how I would treat a 52-week breakout. And like I say, remember, the more things you can combine, the better the bang for the buck is, and the better, the better the volatility is, and you're gonna have something like SBET, something crazy from 35 to 105. So there's opportunity in the market. You just have to combine multiple setups, and you'll receive more bang for your buck.